I was bullied as a teenager for being the skinny guy. Bullying can happen at any age. You always have to ask why someone is doing something.
For those of you who haven't heard of him yet, Noel Deyzel is a South African entrepreneur and IFBB heavyweight bodybuilder who, over the past couple years, has made a huge name for himself over on social media, especially on TikTok, thanks to some extremely direct and on-point motivational fitness advice. In fact, Daddy Noel, yep, that's what his fan base likes to call him, I don't make the rules here, has even branched out and started his own brand of supplements known as Zyzz. But it wasn't just supplementing that helped Noel get as big as he is, which is freaking massive as it turns out. There's a whole lot of steroids in that epic frame, which is a path that Noel is now warning his audience against using. But having started on his fitness path so late in life, Noel needed a little extra kick to help him get there. So what motivated him to totally change his life and become the modern day version of Hercules? Well, stay tuned to our newest episode of Before They Were Famous to find out. But before we get started, please take a moment to like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications to make sure our content gets as wide a release as possible. And without further ado, let's get right into this video. Noel Deyzel was born on September 30th, 1984 in the city of Johannesburg, South Africa. To this point in time, Noel hasn't revealed all that many details about his childhood or education, but there are a couple things that we do know about him. For one, he grew up without a father, but if I'm being honest, his mother who raised him and his two sisters on her own seems cool as hell.
You need lessons on turkey.
The second thing is that, as a young kid, he was so skinny that he used to refer to himself as a ramen noodle. I've been there, Noel. Used to do, hula hoops with a Cheerio. Yeah, all the common insults that you get being a skinny kid. I was there, Noel. Still am. Anyways. With a premium being placed on big humans in South Africa, Noel eventually joined a gym as a teenager where he was motivated to succeed by one of his friends. But after just one gym session, Noel was so stiff that for the next 3 days, he had to turn his entire body when addressing somebody. He wouldn't step foot in a gym again for a number of years afterwards. Instead, he joined his school's baseball team while also becoming a skateboarder. But a part of him always harbored a desire to be bigger. From that point forward, Noel focused on his original career, which started off about as far away from bodybuilding as you possibly can get. In March of 2002, at the age of 17, Noel was hired straight out of high school to become a technical manager by a South African tech firm known as Mobile Blitz. After spending about 2 years at that role, Noel was promoted once again, this time to technical and creative manager. Within 2 years, he was promoted to the position of regional manager for a subsidiary known as Cell, one of South Africa's most popular cellular telecommunication providers with over 2 million clients at the time Noel was working there. After spending about 2 years at that role, Noel was promoted once again, this time to technical and creative manager, a position that he would hold for about a year and a half before striking out on his own in 2007 to establish his own tech firm that he called Integral Fusion South Africa. In his role as managing director, Noel ensured that Integral Fusion worked with various companies all across the globe to assist them in reaching their strategic business objectives by implementing the firm's software and project management expertise. Eventually, however, Integral Fusion would evolve into something new. In 2011, Noel rechristened his business as Thought Inc., giving himself a rebrand while also providing much of the same services as before. Thought Inc. has stayed in business ever since.
I used to do development myself, and I moved out of doing actual development only in times of need, when we had like capacity and I have to kind of step in to help meet deadlines. But other than that, just focusing more on business development and marketing.
All of this to say that Noel carved out one hell of a technological career for himself in the country of South Africa, which is an image that's almost entirely at odds with how we see him today. So what the hell happened? Well, according to Noel, he simply got tired of being the butt of everybody's joke.
When I started training, I really didn't have a plan. I knew I wanted to get bigger because I was the skinny guy, I was the scrawny guy that got bullied and picked on, so I knew I wanted to be anything but skinny.
He never forgot about getting bullied as a teen over his size, and as a grown man, this led to him feeling inadequate in many social situations. So Noel finally decided to do something about it. Noel began his journey to transform his body around 2005. After spending a night at the club with his girlfriend and seeing other men flirt with her right in front of him, he decided it was time to return to the gym and finally take control of his own life. It's a different type of disrespect when they flirt right in front of you. Jeez.
I was 21 and I had a girlfriend at the time. We were at some nightclub, standing at the bar, and and some guy came up and started hitting on her in front of me. Of course I didn't do anything about it. I was the human form of a ramen noodle. But I thought to myself, F it. I need to get big so situations like this don't happen.
After a few weeks of pumping iron, Noel still wasn't seeing all that much in terms of results. So he went to the store to get some supplements like creatine. As a gift with the purchase, Noel was given an extra large red t-shirt that he had absolutely zero hope of ever fitting into. I mean, the shirt was just way too big. But when he asked the guy for another size, he was told there were none. But then this guy would say the magic words that would change Noel's life forever. Don't worry, kid, you'll grow into it. This gave Noel a goal to work towards, and so that's exactly what he did. 3 years later, he'd start his own YouTube channel, but at the offset, he originally used the channel for his hobbies, which included gaming, music production, all under the handle of Wonderboy 2010.
I was into gaming and I was into music production, actually. In my skateboarding days, I actually did music production, and I have in my life produced an entire album with, I think it was 11 or 12 tracks on it, or songs.
And I mean, on top of that, this guy was in the midst of starting his own business during the day and pumping iron all night. So it's not really a surprise he didn't have time to track his journey at first. What's more, in order to see the gains that he so desperately wanted, one day Noel tasked his mother with going down to the local supplement store to pick him up something that would help him bulk up. When she asked the clerk what he recommended, he offered her two choices: above the counter or below. Noel's mom quickly conferred with her son, who said that as long as it helps him pack on the muscles, that he didn't care if it was legal or illegal. After getting into steroid cycling and resculpting his body into the Adonis that we know him as today, Noel eventually began to document his passion for fitness starting in November of 2018, when he uploaded a couple of early motivational and how-to videos on his long dormant channel. Things kind of stalled out again for about a year or so, but after that, in 2020, Noel would make the incredibly bright decision to join the TikTok platform, where he quickly found a bigger audience than ever before. Once his TikTok took off, so too did his other digital platforms like YouTube and Instagram, which exploded in subs and followers to the point where it is today, and Noel having well over 2 million fans on each platform. But that's not the only place where you can go to get your Daddy Noel fix. That's crazy, calling him Daddy Noel. He's also created his own direct-to-consumer coaching service known as Noel Deyzel Academy. Just don't expect to wind up with the exact same size as Noel by the time you're finished a course. So how do we know that Noel is a juicer? Well, I mean, besides just looking at him, I mean, it's because he's actually been pretty open and honest about it in hopes of deterring young kids from going down the same path. In fact, not only has Noel warned aspiring bodybuilders to stay away from the stuff, he's also called out other social media influencers for not being more open about their own steroid use, thus misleading their audience and potentially sending them down a dark and dangerous path.
I am sick of fake influencers. My issue with it is that these people's lifestyles and physiques are mostly unattainable. I've never claimed to be natural, but know far too many people that do when they're not.
Noel has been transparent about his steroid use for almost as long as he's been making content, something that his friends warned him about in the early days of his channel, as openly discussing such topics would likely give potential sponsors cold feet. But having already made the bulk of his fortune with his tech company, Noel wasn't creating content for the money or free supplements. He simply wanted to share his journey with the world. In order to keep his audience safe, Noel never reveals the exact type of steroid that he uses, because he doesn't want any of his younger audience members to potentially hurt themselves by following in his footsteps. He even went so far to end his discussion on steroid use with the following thought: the term influence means to have an effect on the character of development of somebody. Be mindful of who you follow and be careful of who you let influence you. And I mean, considering where we are as a society today and the abundance of people looking to do exactly that, influence you, keeping that sentiment front and center is more important than ever. But as for where Noel Deyzel and his bodybuilding career takes him from here, well, that'll be a story for another time and another place. I mean, after all, this is before they were famous. Thank you everybody for watching. Please don't forget to let us know what you thought in the comment section down below. And when you're done, take a second to like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications to make sure you never miss an episode. If you'd like to check out other entries similar to this one, then please be sure to check out our looks on Zyzz, Krishan Rock, and Tristan Tate. My name is Clyde Smith, and I'll see you guys in another video. Ooh, did a different sign out. I'm gonna tip my hat or a salute. Maybe we should have that. Worn a hat for like 5 straight videos. I'm gonna switch it up a bit.